Life's a binge. Bow, 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 wow. Right?
Oh, this is a Hobbit bot, huh? I thought there'd be like equations and shit on the walls.
I will take a picture of the finest lager in the house.
All right.
Woo!
Welcome, everybody, to our
back.
Life's a Binge midweek special.
Yeah.
We finished our run of Supernatural.
It is over.
This week, we're going to talk about a movie that is on Hulu now.
Yeah.
Hulu is kind of raising their game. They've been sort of
Well,
trying
it's
to raise
weird.
their
They're
game.
they're competing with Netflix. There's all this weird competing stuff where like Hulu dropped CW stuff, and then they Netflix picked it up, and they're gonna air it. It's weird. It's all weird, but it's cool. They're both stepping their game up to compete with each other.
Yeah,
I think.
and Netflix is definitely the leader right now. They're
Well,
they're humongous
for sure.
But anyway, on Hulu, they've gotten a few good movies on there, and when Hulu shows their movies too, they don't do them with commercials. There's
a commercial at the front that you have to watch for a minute, and then it's just the movie.
But the rest of it, I'm good with that. I would have a problem with it if they did a TBS style and put in.
Boo! Commercials are for dummies. This episode is sponsored. I'm just kidding.
By Quickie Mart, where you can get Black Velvet whiskey.
Yes.
From Quickie Mart.
But we're talking about Good Will Hunting.
Good Will Hunting.
Yeah.
I love this movie.
It is a good flick.
I love this movie.
Yes.
This is a movie that when it came out, it spoke to me.
Are you a genius and you're not telling me?
I'm absolutely a genius.
There
I
you
think
go.
that any of us say, that's me, so smart, but he can't get out of his own way. So if you're not familiar with the movie, which I'm sure you are, Ben Affleck and Matt Damon wrote it together. I have a feeling it was more Matt Damon.
Probably.
And
I don't know. I think Ben Affleck's more like the behind the scenes guy. I mean, he's now the bigger director
he
and
is
producer
a great
type
director,
thing.
a great director.
So it's very, who knows?
It's hard to say.
A lot of people didn't believe that they wrote it just based on their off-screen personalities. They're both kind of goofy, or they were at the time. So a lot of people had a hard time believing that these two, young kids wrote this great. It was nominated for all sorts of things.
Yeah, they won an Oscar for it, for original screenplay.
A lot of people didn't believe it at first, but they did write it. So,
but it's so the story is of Will Hunting, young Will Hunting, and he's a troubled kid who lives on the street. But it turns out he's
super smart.
Yeah, he's just a phenom.
What's the word?
I know the word.
Prodigy.
He's a prodigy, though.
Is
He's
that
I
don't know the word.
Gone.
Yeah,
it's what we're not.
but he's super. He's super smart when it comes to numbers and stuff. He can see
or everything.
Codes
But that's how he figures out. So he gets in trouble. He has a job where he is the janitor at MIT, and one of the professors at MIT puts a equation on the board in the hall, makes it an extra credit.
Who can solve it?
Whoever can solve it's going to be in the good graces of the professor in the school. And he solves it. He solves it, and
without even trying. Just walks by and he's like, I got this.
Beep, boop, 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 and solves it. And he gets in trouble, hits a cop, goes to jail.
He's a jerk. He's a troubled punk.
He is kind of a jerk. I've been watching it because I've watched this movie now several times. But since it just
even
came
with his
back
relationship with Minnie Driver later, he's not the best boyfriend.
No, he's a jerk. He's
not a jerk.
But I do. Yeah, you forgive it for the storyline because he's troubled. He knows that he has trouble past.
It's almost like he has a Asperger's type thing, almost, but he doesn't. But it's just this weird disconnect from social norms. He doesn't socially interact well, is how I would put it. Kinda, you know what I mean? Where he just gets in your face and I'll solve this by punching you, or you know what I mean? Instead of he just doesn't interact socially well. Even with Robin Williams, when Robin Williams shows up, because he has to go to therapy. Yeah,
the story is he can stay out of jail and work for the professor. But since he got sentenced to jail, one of the conditions of the court was that he go to therapy regularly and see a therapist until he's 21.
Oh, it turned off.
And so he does that, And that's how you meet Robin Williams, who's the only therapist who can take him, who is a psychiatrist who can handle his personality, and his genius. And
because he went through, they like briefly mentioned that he goes through like, you know, he shows up to somebody else and like, I can't deal with this guy, and they all get up and leave basically. So like Robin Williams' character is like the last chance guy basically.
So. There's so many like great scenes in this movie that are really like kind of stick out. The one that of course is the scene in the Harvard bar where Ben Affleck is a lovable dumb guy, trying to hit on Minnie Driver and her friend, and is kind of, oh hey, how you doing?
I like Ben Affleck.
I do too. No, I do
I've
too.
never had a problem with Ben Affleck, but he is like prime Ben Affleck in this movie.
Well, no, I do have the problem that I have with Ben Affleck is when Good Will Hunting is right in his comfort zone.
Right.
Like it's
just a guy.
He's a guy from South Boston.
Just a guy.
Just being a regular guy, and his brother Casey's in it too, and they all have a great.
You can tell they're just real
together.
buddies, right?
Yeah. And that's what I love about this film is they film so much of these scenes of them in the car and them talking, and it feels so natural.
Yeah.
Like this is how you would talk to your friends. You know, Chuck, I had a double burger. Well, you know, I'm going to put your double burger here on layaway, and you can buy it Renaissance style. And it's very natural, friendly way to the dialogue, which is kudos to Matt Damon and Ben Affleck for writing it that way.
Yeah.
But Gus Van Sant does a great job putting it all together in a very artistic way, and they use this Elliott Smith music that's just perfect for the storytelling. So, God, I love this movie. Well, but the scene in the Harvard bar is so great. That's just something everybody wants to do, is to have the wherewithal and the knowledge to just shut somebody up.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like who's talking trash, and just to go and just, you know, especially today. This is before the internet.
Oh, yeah.
Before cell phones. Yep. Where you get in a comment
this movie
fight.
Came out, what, 96?
Yeah, or maybe
95, 96, something like that? Yeah.
So because they're talking on phones, he's using a payphone.
Yeah,
you know, and it's pre-cell phone and pre-cell phone
popular. Like nobody had one. Yeah,
but man, that scene is so great. Like everybody's like, I wish I put yourself like any great hero scene. You put yourself in that scene where you go and shut the guy up and impress the girl, and then she comes and goes home with you or gives you her number.
Yeah. It's funny because this movie has one of the very first monologues I ever did in my whole performing career.
Really?
My sophomore year of high school is when I first started doing theater, and we all had to enter this monologue contest, and I had no idea what I was going to do, and I chose the one that I was just talking about before, the NSA speech. I chose that as my monologue. And I did it all, I had to do it big because it was for theater, not for film. So he just does it sitting in his chair, saying, working for the NSA, blah, blah, blah. And the camera, slowly gets closer to him, and it's, all dramatic or whatever. But I had to, step it up. So that was the first monologue I ever knew, the say I'm working for the NSA speech.
And in that scene, it's cool because they kind of pan in towards him, and then they cut to another scene, and he's finishing the story. So he only tells a little bit of it to the NSA guys. The rest of it he's telling to Sean, his therapist, and their interaction is just so brilliant. And
because Robin Williams is he's perfect for the role.
He is
because he's just your buddy. You know what I mean? He tries to be his therapist and does the traditional tell me why you're so troubled type stuff at the very beginning, and Matt Damon's just no, and he just sits there and he's a butt and I'm here because I have to be, but I don't have to say anything.
Yeah.
And then he just he busts down that door.
Yeah.
He gets in there.
He does. And
then he goes through untraditional methods.
Yeah. And then just how freaking great is, near the end of the movie where they're done with their therapy. They're both have this great mutual respect for each other. And he's going through his files and he says, it's not your fault, man. Just it's not your fault.
Yeah.
That's such a great scene. It's so great. So it's definitely a movie that I can put on. Yeah, I can put on like I just did. Put it on and watch it.
And if you haven't seen it in a while, go back and watch it again. Because it's worth it. It's always worth a watch. But it's one of those that you probably watched it, 10, 15 years ago. But go back, watch it again.
Yeah, there are certain things, movies, and TV episodes you can put on at any time and enjoy them, and this is definitely one. And while it's on Hulu especially, take advantage of it and check it out.
Yeah, and not only that, but like when it's one of those movies where I haven't seen it in a long time, but when you go back and watch it again, you're going to pick up on a lot more subtlety, maybe more of the nuances, and like a lot more of the adultness behind it. I don't know. It's always funny when I go back and watch a movie that I haven't seen in a long time, and then I'm like, oh, as an adult, like I now understand where you're coming from with this type stuff. So it's kind of cool when that stuff happens. And this is one of those movies that I guarantee if you haven't seen it in a long time, it will happen for you.
Agreed. One of my favorites. You should go watch it right now.
Yeah. So thanks for watching. This has been our short little review of Good Will Hunting. This is Life's a Binge. I'm Jared.
I'm BJ.
And we'll see you on the couch.